Mikey hands the headset off to Brian Schottenheimer, the offensive coordinator for your Dallas Cowboys. Good morning, sir. Sorry we didn't get to say hi off air, and we're just throwing you right into it.
That's our knuckleballs.
Nice to see you guys, man. What's going on? Sorry we had to chase Mickey out of here, man. That's messed up. I feel bad.
I know. So there's a lot of pressure on you to make this interview successful.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just want to let you know that from the jump. All right.
I'll tell you what, pressure. It's tough. This is a tough situation. Follow up that act right there.
Well, I mean,
this show's known for very hard, difficult questions, so we're really good.
You guys look like bad guys, tough guys. You know what I'm saying?
I don't want to add to it, but you are sitting on the K-Post Roofing and Waterproofing hot seat interview, so it is a lot of pressure. So I actually have one question. I would really love as much detail as you can give us on this. Can you walk us through in-game responsibilities if you're not directly the one who's calling the plays? Like, how does that all unfold on the sideline?
Yeah, that's a great question. And, again, it's going to be a little different for me. I mean, again, for 14 years calling the plays, you're the guy getting all the information. You're the guy that everybody's feeding you. Okay, here's what we're getting on first, second down. These are some of the adjustments we got to make. And now it's my role, along with the staff, to gather all this information, tie it together, present it to Mike to where not only what they're doing, but really, let's be honest. I mean, the bottom line is when you're talking about offensive football, there's a focus and a really the attempt to, hey, we're going to do what we do. Why? Because we're good at it. We're confident in it. We like to be the ones that want to attack and get after people. But, again, there's going to be adjustments made based on the opponent and how they see us maybe differently than we saw ourselves heading into that game. So I'll be the guy working closely with the staff to communicate to Mike, hey, here's how they've changed, or hey, they're staying with what we expected they do. And then tie that into schematically what we want to do to offset what they're doing. And so, again, it's basically processing a ton of information, both what we're doing, what we're having success with, and then comparing that to the defense, and then giving him feedback that helps him call the plays and feel good about the flow. Because calling a game is all about flow and routine. And, again, hey, they're thinking we're doing this and we're doing that. And that's the magic of a great play caller.
With that in mind, then, do you ever think the concept of the halftime adjustment is overrated because it discounts the fact that you're probably adjusting after a play, after a series, like continuously throughout the game?
It's a constant evolution, if you will. Like, you're always trying to adjust. You're always taking information. But I think what's weird is people don't realize, and I've only been in college for like 1 year, really 1 year as a coordinator at Georgia. The pro halftime is so damn fast. Like, you get in there, and it is like a fire sale of an auction. You're like, hey, what do you want to do? Hey, okay, on the run, we got to do this. I mean, it's crazy how fast it goes. So if you do a good job during the game, first, second, third quarter, whatever, halftime becomes easier because you've been communicating your players the whole time. And look, the objective is we want our guys to be able to go out there and feel very free. Play free, play fast, react to what's happening. And so, again, that communication we give them of what to expect from the opponent helps them do that.
Kind of reemphasize, too, what you've been saying all week, or, hey, this is the new thing we have to move on the fly with. Did you have Sean Green and Thomas Jones when you were with the Jets?
We did. We always had a stable of backs. So I can't remember. I don't think Sean and Thomas were together, but LaDainian Tomlinson, Sean Green were together. We had Leon Washington, Thomas Jones. Had a couple of guys, Barlow. We had Barlow. I mean, so we've always had a stable of guys. Which again, in this league, man, it's such a demanding position and a physical position. You better have a stable of dudes.
Well, thank you for multiple fantasy championships. As I could start both of the guys, the running backs from the Jets, and we were rocking along.
There you go. I like that. You're welcome. You're welcome.
And also for the future, we're going to use a drop of you saying it's helpful to have a stable of dudes. So I just want to let you know.
Hey, I love that. Yeah. You quote me on that.
Be surprised. He's heard this show before.
How similar to the running game then do you want it to be here, and does Mike want it to be, or how different?
Yeah, the easy answer to that is, again, we're going to play based on, our guys and what we've done well. Like the Cowboys have run the ball well here, okay? We're going to continue that. But literally, to sum it up very simply, is say this. When you're a good running football team, which we've been, we were in Seattle in 2018, and we were a couple times with the Jets, leading the league in rushing, which I think we're going to be really, really good this year. You have to be able to run the football when the defense knows you're going to run the damn football, whether that's 4-minute, whether that's a goal line short yard situation, right? It's easy for us to trick people at times, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're a great running football team. It's when they've got the box loaded, they've got the linebackers toughed up, they're trying to run through gaps. They're trying to distort your blocking schemes. But you know what? You can still run the football well. And a huge part of that is the belief and the identity that when we stand up in front of the group, that the receivers buy in. CD, Brandon Cooks, Michael Gallup, that they know that their responsibility is in the running game. They got to kick ass, and they have to get after the safeties and get after the corners, and all that it does is set up what? Your play action passing game. And so our identity is we know we want to be able to run the football when people know, hey, damn, they're running the football and they can't stop us.
So I know I'm going to change the topic a little bit here. I see your tattoo of faith, family, and football. And right now during this trip, I've been reading the Coach K book. He seems like a person that I want to learn leadership skills from. I want to be a better dad, a better coach, a better husband, all of these things. I was wondering if you have a book or somebody that you look up to, or multiple people you look up to, that's really helped you become a better faith, family, football guy.
Well, I love the question. I really do. Big fan of the show already, just because seriously sitting down and talking to you guys. So I got this literally 3 days before camp started.
Wow.
My family truly is my world. I've got beautiful wife, 2 kids. My son's getting ready to head off to college, going to Auburn.
Mine too, and his daughter's going off to college.
I'm telling you. So, and here's the crazy thing. Like, I don't know if this is a God thing or this is just punishment, because he goes to school on the 9th. Starts on the 10th, so my wife's got to take him down there without me.
Okay.
I'm sure I'm going to get the phone call, and I'm saying, hey, honey, what are you doing? I'm laying in his bed, and I'm just thinking about, like, okay, get up, go work out, go do something. But look, my dad coached for a long time. You guys know that. Yep. He was a terrific football coach. But he was a great dad. And so I would start with him. I remember, him waking me up to go play golf. Like, I was not a big golfer early on. I'm going kindergarten, first grade, second grade. We'd get up at like 6:30 in the morning to go play golf. And I'd be like just dreading it. And so I'd be riding in the cart. He'd ask me to go hit a shot or two. And I'd be like, no, I'll just wait till the green. I'll putt. But now that I look back on it, like, he just wanted time with me alone. No distractions, on the golf course, on the green, and we talked about what? Life. And then the coolest thing that I look back on is I started looking forward to those moments, because after golf, we were always guaranteed of one thing. On the way home, we're going to stop at the ice cream shop, and we were going to get a chocolate milkshake, and I could order whatever I wanted in it, and it was amazing. We would just sit on the picnic table and talk about life. And so he's a huge influence. I've read most of Coach K's books. I literally just read this 2 summers ago, Leading with the Heart again, which is a great one. But there's so many just great mentors and people that try to get that right. But those are my 3 whys. Really, they all start with F, but they're my 3 whys. It's because my faith is really strong. I am a believer. I'm a Christian. My family is my world. And then, again, you can't do this job. You can't love coaching. You can't love playing in the National Football League without being driven and motivated to be the best you can be, because it's so demanding on your time and your body, and it takes away from so many other parts of your life.
What's been your biggest emotional moment coaching football?
Biggest emotional moment coaching football.
Just as you're thinking, because I was just reading where Quinn Snyder started crying because he's with Duke and the seniors get into an NCAA tournament game, and he started crying on the bench, and Coach K said, now you know what it's like to be a coach, the connection you have with these guys for 4 years. Yeah, so again, there's been a ton of them, and it's one pops up because, again, we started talking about family and my dad and stuff. So it would have been 2000 and I believe 9, maybe 2010. I was coordinating with the Jets. My dad had been fired after a 14-2 season with the Chargers. We went out to San Diego. I think they were one of the top seeds. Back and forth game, right? We end up popping a big run with Sean Green. He goes for like a 45-yard touchdown late. And then we get the ball back in like a 4-minute drive to put the game away. We go for it on 4th and 1. If we make the first down, game's over, right? They don't get another shot. Phillip Rivers is playing quarterback for them. And we called 40 Blast. Well, 40 Blast is a version of Power O, which was my dad's favorite play. So Rex says, hey, we're going for it. So we go immediately what we're doing.
Thomas Jones goes and he frickin' follows Tony Richardson's block right up into the A-gap. We make a first down. The game's over. We're going crazy. We're going to the AFC Championship game. And I go out after the game, I go out into the family section, and my mom was there, my wife was there, some friends, but my dad was actually being a ball coach. He was coaching the damn Shrine game down in Tampa. I'm like, really? You're missing a playoff game to go coach the Shrine game?
Play.
Yeah, I mean, but literally, I called him, and I wasn't expecting this, but I called him, and he picked up, and just when he said hello, I just started getting emotional. I said, hey, this one's for you, Dad, because when he got fired in San Diego, that was hard. 14-2, they had a hell of a team. You know, I mean, if you guys remember, you guys probably do, right? Interception, ball gets knocked out by Trevor, or they're going to win. And so that was just a cool moment. But, again, it's after big games, being in the locker room with the guys. I'll be honest with you. This year in the draft room with Deuce and Chris Vaughn, one of the coolest things I've ever experienced, fellas. I mean, like, literally, like, that was emotional. Like, we kind of knew it was coming, but, like, just that love of the game when shared together with a father and a son, or just, you know, a connection with two people together, it's just powerful, man. So, again, I appreciate you asking about that.
Now, we just had Deuce Vaughn on the show yesterday.
He was great.
But also, we had Jalen Tolbert on, and I know you said he's a guy who looks like he's figured it out. Do you want to give credit to our show for interviewing him so early in camp and helping set him on the right path?
Well, if you guys taught him how to take notes, then you guys should 1,000% applaud yourself, pat each other on the back, because I mean, like, I'm looking at your guys' handwriting; it's not nearly as nice as his.
To read,
it's not. It's not. We also had on Eric Scott, so I feel like we're taking potentially fringy candidates and pushing them onto the roster. So I really feel
you
like
guys are developing the end of the roster. I love that.
Yeah, you're always churning.
Hey, literally, I asked JT the other day we were going to practice, because I threw it out there just when I saw him in the weight room. I asked him about his notes and stuff. I had to give him a heads up. I was like, hey, dude, if people come up to you like, hey, man, I want to see your notes, like, hey, it's okay. I threw it out there to him. But I asked him if anybody had asked him. He said somebody had asked him about it, but they didn't ask to see it. But he's a feel-good story, in my opinion. Because last year, I'm sitting back. I'm a consultant. I'm just kind of watching, and I saw some of the struggles. I saw some of the things where just didn't come together for him. And then when he came back into the building in early February, whenever it was, man, it was cool. There was a different look in his eyes, and he was excited. And you see him showing up every day at practice. And, like, as a coach, it gets you excited, because the fans don't see that. They don't see a guy come into the building in February 10th, right, when they don't have to be back in the building until the middle of April, and be like, hey, coach, I'm ready. What do I need to do different? What do I need to do better? And then to see him search out Brandon Cooks and, okay, hey, this can work together. And then you talk to him over the summer, just checking in and say what's up, and they're out in Oregon together training. Like, that stuff gets you fired up as a coach, man, because it's like these guys understand the connection piece. And the family piece and the brotherhood piece is real in our game. It is real. So two great guys, two really good young players that we're really excited about.
How difficult is it to run a practice and get a playoff with Micah being on the other side? It just seems like that dude's wrecking practice too sometimes. Yeah,
I mean, obviously the defense in itself gives you all kinds of problems, but the guy's playing at such a high level right now. And again, another thing, just when you look at you follow this spring. Guy's training with Andrew Whitworth. Like, here's a guy working on his craft, right? Like, I mean, and when you talk to the coach, you're like, hey, did you guys help with that? He's like, no, he totally did that on his own. But elite player. Again, I hate to compare players, but I was around more as a high school, college kid, and then 1 year as a coach, Derek Thomas. And there's so many similarities of the get off, the strength, the relentless pass rusher, just to chase things down. Like, it's cool when you've been around one guy, you're like, this guy's unbelievable, and then you watch Mike every day in practice, and there's just a respect. You're like, holy cow, that guy's a hell of a player.
Glad he's on my team.
Yeah, exactly.
One thing that can be super helpful if the rush is coming is the screen game, which we've been praying to see more and more of for years here. How do you feel about the development of y'all's screen game? Because we've heard and seen Hendershot, Vaughn, Pollard. It feels like a lot more people are getting mixed in the screen game.
Yeah, it's an awesome weapon for you offensively, right? I mean, this game's become what? It's become a passing game. Everybody loves to kind of spread people out and throw the football. But, again, screens and draws are a lineman's best friend. right? Because it does what? It makes the defense question. Oh, is it so they don't have the same get off. They don't have the same bend of the corner and stuff like that. So I think that we'll be really good in that regard because I think, number one, we've got a line that's going to be good at handling the space of playing in the perimeter and the screens. We've got people we want to get the ball to in space. You've mentioned some of them, whether it's TP, whether it's Deuce. All the backs can do it. Then we got tight ends that can do it. We've got guys on the perimeter that can do it. So certainly something we've been working on. And the biggest thing is going to be us not only picking the right spot to call them, which Mike will certainly do, but then executing them because screens can look ugly. Draws can look ugly when they don't work, and that's when the fans are like, no, not another screen. But when they pop, they could be explosive.
So you've been to a lot of training camps throughout your life. I was wondering this, and nothing like against Jacksonville. I love watching Trevor Lawrence, but it's like we might be walking into this place with Trevor Lawrence as he's just parking the car with us, too. I'm just wondering, I've never been to I've never been to an NFL training camp besides the Dallas Cowboys. How much bigger, or is it bigger than other people's training camps?
I love the setup, number one. I mean, when I first got here last year, when I was with, again, the Chargers, we would go to UCSD in La Jolla and the same setup. But what's so cool about this is just everything is so close. And what I love is I love walking to and from practice or to and from meetings and seeing the groups of guys hanging out and visiting. And because everything's so close, you see these guys walking and talking, and not about football, about life and getting closer and tell me about your family and tell me where you're from and tell me your story, man, and tell me your journey. So, again, the setup's great. The fans being out here is great. And then, of course, the weather. When I look back and I just compare, I'm like, that practice, we would have a hard time doing that right now in Dallas, 106 or 105 degrees. The coaches would definitely be falling out.
Just driving to work would be tough.
Man, we appreciate your time very, very much. The feedback we've already gotten on the fan text on social media is super positive, so we'd love to have you back on at any point.
Love it. Appreciate you guys, seriously, and look forward to working with you guys again, and let's have a hell of a year.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen.